Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Longbox. How you doing, everybody? I'm here with R.A. William. R.J. William. I said R.A.
RJ.
Yeah.
That's all right.
So many R.J.s. So many R.J.s.
There are a lot of RJs in this business.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
R.J. from the fourth age was just on yesterday. How's
Man,
everything?
pretty good, pretty good. I can't complain. I
Haven't
got
seen you in
Gandalf
a
here with
while.
me. He can't decide where he wants to be right now.
That's cats for you. That's cats for you.
Yeah,
You know where
yeah.
he's gonna want to be? The place where you don't want him to be.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the rule.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
how
rule.
cats are. So what's going on, man? Long time no see.
Well, latest news is I am going to launch Call Sign Orion soon. Been giving away a lot of trinkets
Yep.
and this cool little pop socket. Take advantage of that while you can. Get on my Substack mailing list. If you want to see what I'll give you a little demo, what they look like on your phone. Makes a great little handle on your phone. Makes a great stand. There's little mounts they make in your car. You put it on your dashboard and put it up there. It's pretty cool, unique, functional art. Take advantage of that, and keep an eye out for May 30th. I'll be on Michael Bancroft's channel launching the book.
Oh,
Another thing that's going to go away pretty soon is the Lena Riley trading card.
yep.
So get these while you can. There's a limited supply. They are a trading card. I am not the Federal Reserve. I don't print limitless things to devalue them. So get on it while you can.
So
And
you'll launch it on Michael Bancroft then. Cool. So am I.
yeah,
April 4th.
and you can pre-order the book right now on any of the campaigns. Aside from the trading card, I've got the F-26 Aerostar here, and if you go get the trading card, you could also pre-order the book. Same with the miniature, and you'll get a glossy book. You'll get an extra shiny version of Call Sign Orion with space battles, and that's the thing to do. So, if you're cool and you like to take advantage of great deals, do it. But if you
See that?
don't,
You're
tune
cool.
bankrupt later.
You're cool. Only cool people. But we're cool. We
Really
make
cool.
comic books. We read comic books. We're cool, right? That's cool.
We're pretty cool. We're all right. Yeah.
I remember I had a storage unit when I first moved back, and I had where is it?
Son's doing weird things right now. I'm gonna go take care of that.
Yeah, I had like all of these superhero stuff. I had a Magneto helmet, and all the stuff in my storage unit. My niece came with me, and we were putting comic books away, and she's looking at all these Green Lantern things and Magneto. She goes, "You're like the coolest guy ever." She goes, "You should just put on all of this stuff and just like walk down the street." I was like, "Oh man, if only the whole world was like a 9-year-old." You know what I mean? That is the definition of cool,
Right.
Magneto helmet, a Superman cape, a Batman utility belt, just walking down the street, people honking. That guy's cool.
That guy's the coolest. Only at cons,
Yeah.
Stepping out with another RJ, yeah.
RJ's getting jealous. Yes,
I'm a home wrecker.
I'm seeing another RJ. Yeah.
But yeah, only at cons is that like the coolest thing.
We got Ernest over here with a nice Green Hornet avatar. Zactan. I always get nervous until I get blessed by Zactan. Praetor 7, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a little while. How's everything? And What Geeks Do Network? Howdy, John, RJ, and chat. I always have to give him credit for making that cool John's Longbox little punk rocky thing.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love that. He just sent it to me too. I absolutely love it.
It's a perfect intro for your channel.
Yeah. I'm an old farty punk rocker. Punk. I was just talking to Fabrizio Aiello the other day. I said, old 80s punk rockers turned into like 2025 jazz guys. I've been listening to jazz now. So
yeah, me and Mike Barron, I think I might have told you, we bond over that because I think a lot of people don't know before he was in the comics, he was a music journalist.
Yes.
And he could talk about music forever.
Yeah, it was funny because he's been on my channel like 3 or 4 times. And you kind of run out of things to talk about. You know what I mean? Like you shill your new product and then you're like, hey, what else is new? But somebody told me to ask him about music. And it was just like, and he sat up in the chair. We talked for like another 45 minutes about music. He blew me away that he knew so much about punk rock, And you know who
he knows
else?
a little about everything.
Yeah. Chuck Dixon doesn't seem to be like a punk rock guy, but he says he doesn't like music. Chuck Dixon's like, I'm one of those weird people that just don't get into music. But then he knew everything about it. So I guess that's what makes me a good writer is, you do a little bit of research.
Yeah, some people just soak things up, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So now I got to ask you, what kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to a little bit of everything. You know, I actually just found this really cool playlist on Spotify I was listening to on my drive home. And you've seen Cobra Kai, right?
No, I haven't watched
Tell
it
me
yet.
you've seen it. Oh,
You know,
Lord. You got to watch it.
I haven't. I don't watch TV anymore. I know that sounds
You got to
pretentious.
get into like the shows that are actually good, though.
I know. I just feel like modern pop culture, whatever, it just disappoints me so much.
Well, you're right, but there's stuff that's still worth seeing. Like,
Right,
oh
and I keep
man,
saying that. I'm gonna go back and watch. Like I kind of wait till things are done, but Cobra Kai is one of them that people said was good from beginning to end. So
well,
anyway,
yeah, Mike actually just wrote a Substack article about how good it is because they just finished their last season. They had a really good, and they had a great conclusion. A lot of shows that are good don't have good conclusions.
right, like I'm still angry over Game of Thrones.
Hmm
I,
But this
I,
actually has a really satisfying conclusion, and it's so hard to do a good reboot, especially on a classic IP like that. And not only do they do that, they bring everyone back, and it's not just bad fan service, and they actually have a satisfying conclusion to it all. It's really the exception to the rule of like reboots. So
yeah, so
it's not a reboot; it's a sequel technically.
right. Everybody's asking me, "Are you watching Daredevil?" I'm like, "No, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch it till it's done." And then everybody tells me that I'm so tired of watching 7 hours into a show, and then I get lectured on transgenderism or something like that.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. What I've seen so far of Daredevil isn't bad. I don't even pay for Disney Plus. Sorry, that's for I'm just picking
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I don't even pay for Disney Plus. But I saw the first 3 episodes on the Friends account, and it wasn't bad. A lot of stuff they say is awful. Like it's not that bad.
Well,
But there's a lot of trash. Like I agree, most of it's trash.
yeah, like I'm done with Star Wars, Star Trek.
Yeah, they ruined it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like I think certain YouTube channels became popular with the rise of the just terrible stuff. They're ruining franchises left and right. But a lot of I'm not saying everything's back, but there's some stuff that's not as bad as they say, and there's other stuff that's really good.
I think there was a culture shift, but a lot of these TV shows take like 2 years to make, so it's gonna,
Hmm
yeah. It's there's gonna be a little bit of lag time, but so like I don't hate watch anything. Like I there's just so much stuff. I got so many comics, even comics that I haven't read, so I just cut things out. Like Star Wars, the second of the sequels just disappointed me so much. I was like, I'm done. And I'm not going to be tricked into watching it with a baby Yoda and stuff like that. I'm done. Like I'll never forgive that they wasted Han Solo, Carrie Fisher, and Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, it was really terrible.
And she died, and Harrison Ford is pretty old, and Mark Hamill is out of his mind. So it's like they ruined their only chance. Star Trek isn't Star Trek anymore. So I got the old stuff. I like it. But you're making a science fiction comic, right?
I am.
Transition.
I am. It's set 1,000 years in the future. Follows what's basically a Navy SEAL team. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if you don't mind. And,
absolutely. I was just going to ask you for your link, but go ahead. You control it. That's even better.
Yeah, I'm just going to show off my Substack. Go to share screen.
Before you do that, we'll say Zach 10. Yeah, they hijack good shows. Unfortunately, most shows fail quickly now. I would even say like a lot of shows aren't even designed to be good. They're just designed to like be trashed or whatever. Like, oh, we they ask for $20 million, they make a $12 million show, and who knows where that other $8 million goes. I feel like the first few seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer were good, but went off the rails. Yeah, I like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but I will say that when it was over, I was a little bit okay. It was time to end. There's a lot to be said for like a show or a comic that goes out on a high note. It knows when to end. But your comic is this is the first issue, right? It's not out. I didn't.
Yep, it launches May 30th.
Right. So I didn't miss anything yet.
Yeah, it'll be on Fund My Comic.
Oh, excellent. Fund My Comic. Pete Cimetti, who does Alterna Comics, was on Twitter today saying that he's been trying to get Indiegogo customer service for 2 weeks, and I just said that's why I'm not using Indiegogo anymore. Fortunately I haven't had a problem with Indiegogo, but why risk it? So Fund My Comic, instant customer service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Luke's
there's
great.
for Fund My Comic.
Luke's great. He's
Are
also my artist.
I'm sorry?
Luke's great. He's also my artist.
Oh, there you go. There you go. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Luke Stone, his artist, is the founder of Fund My Comics. So there you go. You're going to get real good customer service.
Yeah. Are you ready to see the trailer? Can you see my screen?
Oh, sure. I'll make it even bigger. There we go.
There we go. Let's see what.
There you go. That's Luke's art. Cool. What was that little tagline? Save the world.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry. What was that? I couldn't hear you over the
Save
loud.
The world, save the girl. Save the something.
Stop the villain, save the world, save the girl. That's
There
the
you
stake. There's a hostage situation. Basically, their version of like Osama bin Laden is like the terrorists are basically demanding his release in exchange for these hostages. One of the hostages happens to be Orion's ex-girlfriend. So he goes in and kicks some ass, as you could see, and it's gonna be a fun book.
Yeah, I gotta say, Luke's art leveled up. He got a lot better. He did another comic, and the name is escaping now. That was good. I'm not, but he got better. There was no audio, by the way. Was there audio?
There's no audio.
There was no
I
audio.
could hear it fine.
Oh, that's. Oh,
could you hear it?
We couldn't hear audio. I just assumed it was a silent trailer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so strange. When I do present and share screen, I mean, I could share it again if you want.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe I did something. Bring it back. Maybe I hit a button. Yeah, no audio during trailer. Hey, Logic, for one of the best sci-fi series ever was Blake's. I've been hearing about Blake 7 for years. It might be time to actually settle down and watch it. I've been watching Space 1999 for the first time since I was a kid, and man, is that boring. I remember why I stopped watching it as a kid. Yeah, there was no audio. So if you bring it,
I got it. Sorry, my bad.
Okay, good. Not good. Good. I didn't do it.
I could try it again. You want to run it again?
We'll do the right thing. We'll make it big.
You hear it now? You can hear that, right? No.
Nope.
What? You can hear that?
No, I'm just making sure that it's not me.
All right, let me try one more time.
Oh.
Share screen.
I gotta say that StreamYard has been acting weird the past couple of days, so it might not be you.
Oh, there, the little checkbox. You gotta read the fine print.
Yeah.
All right, this will work. Let's try it.
Well,
Now we're like in the endless tunnel. There we go.
what a yeah, StreamYard is acting so weird. Yeah, what a difference music makes. Yep,
Right?
music. Yeah, there we go. It's
Banger.
Blake Seven has no tropes, brilliant writing, amazing casting and direction, simply perfection. Yeah, and spoiler for a 50-year-old show. Don't they all die at the end? Like, don't they just kill them all off? Which is pretty 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 brave. In the vast reach of space, someone has to promote earthly beauty. Okay.
Are you talking about my trading card or Diana the medic with
I don't
the
think
booty
anybody's
sticking
going to
through?
argue about either.
So it's a classic Dizzy or Carmen, conundrum.
It's funny that's been lighting up on Twitter the past couple of days. Dizzy or Carmen,
Yeah.
and they say growing up is realizing that you should have picked Dizzy over Carmen. It's like growing up, dude. I was 12 years old and I was like Dizzy. Carmen,
Yeah.
Carmen was mean and disrespectful, and it was easy to tell that she was,
Yeah. So the answer is Zach Tan's question in the chat. That was the two tough guys on the other side of Orion. Those are Sirius and Scorpion. They're two other alphas. The alphas at this time are basically like the Navy SEALs, only because it's so far in the future. Even Navy SEALs are basically also fighter pilots, so they're kind of like an elite fighter squadron Navy SEAls. They fly around in these things called the F-26 Aerostar. You could get these on Fund My Comic. You could also get glow in the dark versions, painted versions, and you could pre-order the comic book too, and you'll get a glossy book. So you'll get the best deal if you just pre-order now on Fund My Comic with some of the merch I've got.
cool.
But yeah, what's that?
Is this your first campaign?
It is.
Wow, you're doing a lot of cool stuff.
Oh yeah, and even on the back of the trading card, this is Lisa Foyle. She's a friend of mine, so people might remember her from All That, Malcolm in the Middle, when she was a kid. Now she's in a metal band called Von Bolt, and she signed all these cards. So there's like 13 left, I think. They go away when they go away. Like I said, I'm not the Federal Reserve. I don't just keep printing it. It's got value. But what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Dizzy and Carmen. It's funny. It's appropriate because Starship Troopers is one of the sources that inspired this book. Starship Troopers. I'm a big fan of the book and the movie, and so yeah, following Navy SEALs got that military focus in a dystopian future. It's got a little bit of Brave New World, Battlestar Galactica, all the sci-fi that I love, and I just think it's a lot of fun.
Cool. So who do you pick, Dizzy or Carmen?
Dizzy. Find yourself a Dizzy. Yeah.
There's no, like I said, even when I was 12 years old, I was like, Carmen's not it. She's just looking for I don't know,
meal ticket. Not a great person. Yeah.
There's a polite way. Yeah, you said it a politer way. So Zach there wants to know: are they future humans or alien citizens?
Both. So Orion is human, and Sirius and Scorpion are aliens.
Is this like a Star Trek future where like there's like a commonality and everybody you could breed with all the different aliens and stuff?
Some species you can. So there's kind of like a like Spock, half Vulcan, half human. There's a species like that. They're called Edrin, and one of the main characters is an Edrin. But in this version of the future, the dystopian part is that Earth has a global government. You could see right there the UN symbol behind Orion. This is actually a version you don't see in the comic, so it makes the pop socket a little more unique. I'll show you what it looks like on my phone. But Johnny JP7 on Twitter, he drew this image. See, my phone's a magnetic one, but the adhesive you could get for free by subscribing to my Substack, it's shiny, and I think this looks better. But yeah, Earth has a global government, and they're basically like an aggressive like Soviet Union type of empire, and there's independence plans that resist them. So that's where you get the dystopian nature of it. Draws a little bit from Starship Troopers and Battlestar Galactica, or not Battlestar Galactica, Brave New World. But then there's just the Battlestar Galactica style action in it. There is like an evil AI intelligent faction, but mostly I just like the dogfights of Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, Yeah. Did you ever read Old Man's War?
No.
That's Tom Scalzi, I think his name is, or something like that. But it's like 5 books, maybe 5 book series, and it's really easy. It's like reading the comic book. It's kind of fascinating, but there's logical flaws in it that drive me crazy. But it's a fun book. But anyway, you reminded me of that when because one of the things is Earth, and then the military basically colonizes planet. So all the like they ensure that nobody can rebel because only ex-soldiers could colonize. Like the people on Earth are basically kept ignorant of what's truly out there in space. But I don't want to spoil it, but there's some pretty it's pretty cool. Although the author is a real screaming, crazy Trump deranged person.
Really?
I didn't see the new Battlestar Galactica. I love the original Battlestar Galactica so much. Like when I was a kid, I was like the champion of Battlestar Galactica. Excuse me. Everybody likes Star Wars, and of course I like Star Wars too. But I like Battlestar Galactica, so that became mine. And then when I saw that they were doing a remake of it, I was like, nope. So but I heard it was pretty good. I think I'll watch that too.
Is Zach Tan talking about Old Man's War or Call Sign Orion? Because I could tell you how it would work in Call Sign Orion. Call Sign Orion, by the way, I've written other stories in the same universe. I call it the Diaspora universe, but Call Sign Orion is the comic series I'm doing in that universe.
Interesting. I can imagine a lot of the dissident Earthlings being the colonists, leaving the Earth to be dominated by the conformists. Interesting.
In the Diaspora universe where Call Sign Orion takes place, I could tell you how that would work. People just
he's asking about Europe because
okay.
Yeah, you have to be military to leave the Earth.
Yeah, that's the same premise here. It's sort of like Brave New World in that way. People aren't even created naturally anymore, but they're kept happy on the equivalent of like Soma drugs.
Yeah. What woman in Brave New World keeps? There was too much alcohol in his prenate or something like that. That was the way she described that one guy that was just a little too short.
Oh well, they also did a lot of engineering too.
Right. Yeah.
And
but
they
there was
had
one
like
guy
a
that
whole
was
social
like
hierarchy
different than everybody else, and he became like the weirdo.
Yeah.
Oh, you got any links? Do you got any links?
Yeah, in the private chat, there's links. They should all be there. Can you see them?
Nothing in the private chat yet.
Let me see them. All right.
I'm going to throw them out. I'm sorry. Yeah, throw them in private chat, and we'll give you guys all the links. Well, at the very least, it's at Fund My Comic. It's pretty easy to navigate Fund My Comic. That's where you can also find my comic, Heroic Tales, issue 2, which will be launching April 4th. I'm filibustering while he finds his links. I'm pretty good at that. There we go.
So for the mailing list, you get that pop socket just for being on the mailing list. Reply to any of my posts or just DM me with a mailing address, and I will send you a pop socket.
Do you have the link to the Fund My Comic?
Yeah, I'm sending those now.
Okay. So this is the Substack.
So next one I send is the trading card. That also allows you to pre-order the book. And that is signed by the legendary Lisa Foiles. Check her out on Instagram. She's more busy there. But yeah, Lena Riley is like the April O'Neil type news reporter character.
There's always a news reporter character.
You gotta have them.
I have Regina Lopez. She's my news reporter with a bit of a problem. If anybody read my comic,
yes, I did.
Yeah, she's the stalker.
And I know this is gonna shock you, John, but the trading card with the pretty lady is a lot more popular than the 3D printed miniature. But I like spaceships, so that was more for me than anyone else. And I do my best, but this is painted. If you're into like World of Warcraft, Warhammer 40K, you can get a painted version. I also have glow in the dark versions.
I got a 3D printed.
Some people like to paint their own stuff,
I'm going to attempt to paint this. I might do a live stream one of these days when I don't have a guest, but this is my 3D Patriarch resin printed, So maybe I'll paint him and then I'll get a spaceship and I'll have him fly around the spaceship. I'll make like a real small one and put him on the spaceship.
Yeah. Yeah, I dropped the miniature in the private chat too.
Sure.
The F-26 Aerostar.
Well, what did I just do? I'm hitting the wrong buttons again.
Painted version.
So is this a mini series? Is this a long series?
Yeah, it's a mini series. I think I'm gonna do like 3 to 5.
Okay. Oh, Oscar wants to know. My buddy Oscar. I was talking to Oscar today about an idea that I had for a comic. Oscar is invaluable. How Substack work? Is this just a block or could make money there?
You can make money there. You could like monetize. So like you have the option if you start your own Substack, you could put some of your posts behind a paywall. I only have one post behind a paywall. It's actually an exclusive web comic that I'll be doing after Call Sign Orion launches. But right now there's a teaser of it, episode 0, that eventually I'm going to put on Global Comics after Call Sign Orion launches. But I think with the free subscription, like 7-day free subscription, you could get behind the paywall and see the comic if you subscribe. So there's exclusive content. It pays to be a winner by being on the Substack, getting free stuff.
I have a Substack too. I neglect it, but like anything else, if you're famous and popular enough, people will pay to have access to you.
To answer your question, Prater 7, the book will be launching by itself on its own campaign on Fund My Comics, so you don't have to get the card or the miniature, but you can pre-order the book now. You'll get a good deal because you'll get a higher quality print, and I'm trying to cut in deals for people who get in early. So,
okay, that's cool. So, far away in the future is this?
Oh, sorry, you froze. I heard how far away in the future. 1,000 years.
Oh, 1,000.
The year 3025.
Because I always laugh when people the year. I just read this comic. And it's set in like the year 2002. Ooh, that 2002. When we're gonna have interdimensional travel and stuff like that.
Well, it's funny, like
where we just barely have the post office delivering mail on time.
Right. It's like Disneyland. When they built Disneyland in 1955, Tomorrowland was 1985, and they had us, rockets and people living on the moon like the Jetsons.
Yep. Yeah. And 1984 was written in 48. They just reversed the numbers, and although 1984, the technology isn't too crazy. Like,
well, it's because they're basically, these Orwell's describing the Soviet Union, so their technology wasn't too crazy either. People are starving, and it's just regression.
Yeah. So that we brought up the Brave New World in 1984. I don't know if I remember talking about this with somebody. Maybe it was you last time you were on. Forgive me, but I remember in college, the college days, sitting in the dorm room drinking a beer and smoking things we shouldn't have been smoking, and then we turned into amateur philosophers. And one of my favorite topics was like, do you think which is more likely, 1984 or Brave New World?
I think Brave New World. That's kind of why I chose it as inspiration. 1984 has happened. It has happened in a different part of the world, but I think we as a society are heading towards more of a Brave New World situation. Thank you, Zach Tan, for subscribing.
Yeah, it's funny because I argued till I was red in the face that it was going to be 1984, and that we don't want to be oppressed, that we want to be free, and that we're going to fear our government. And now I see, just today I was talking, like I at work, I kind of shut my mouth, but I was listening to a conversation, and even the guys I work with, they crave government intervention and control over everything. I'm like, yes, we want to be governed. Govern me harder, baby. So I have to admit to all my college friends who I haven't spoke to in 30 years that you were right. It's Brave New World is the future. 1984, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Oscar is right. We have both 1984 and Brave New World.
I think, yeah, I agree. It's funny. Like, look at all these people. It's getting a little political, but that's kind of the nature of a dystopian comic. You can't not get at least a little bit political. All this corruption being exposed by USAID, and you got all these people who want it and who are like willing to commit acts of domestic terror to get it back. And the KGB had a name for people like that. They were called useful idiots. And speaking of 1984 and the Soviet Union, so yeah, there you go. People like it. People are definitely, there are a lot of brainwashed people out there who want to be governed really hard.
That's what the guys at work were saying Elon Musk just wants to take away Social Security. And I was biting my tongue, and I was just going to say, why would Elon Musk not want you to have Social Security? What does that have to do with Elon Musk?
Right.
Why, what does he? Not only am I the richest man in the world, but I don't want you to have, like, where did you hear that? Where is the source? Who told you that?
They're just parroting. They'll say anything, they're totally parrot.
I just, you don't poop where you eat. But I was biting my tongue, just sitting there eating my lunch, going, oh my God. So one of the guys goes like, "Did you vote Democrat?" And I said, "No, I'm not transgender." And everybody, that was about as political as I got at work. Now, what is it about? Like, I had a friend, Joanne, back in college. I don't know why I'm thinking about college, but she was writing a novel about a utopia, and she said after about 4 or 5 chapters, it turns into a dystopia. She goes, "I rewritten this novel so many times because she was inspired by Star Trek. She wanted to write like a perfect future." She goes, "But it's like this invisible force just turned my book into something that I didn't want. Why can't we make a utopian future?" Like,
because humans are sinners, John. I'm getting religious too. How about that?
That's fine. Say what,
I don't think until Jesus returns, we're gonna see any sort of decent form of government. Some are just less bad than others.
First, I just
yes, Dalton is absolutely right. Thank you for joining, sir. And yeah, regardless of what Elon does, you're not getting it. I got a joke about Social Security.
What is it?
But you probably won't get it.
1984 is a much bigger public awareness, but to me, Animal Farm is a much better novel. It's yeah. I say that all the time at work, and nobody knows what I'm talking about. I go, some animals are more equal than others, and people just like, "Oh, okay, John's weird." Like, no. I had a coworker, a really, really intelligent guy, really hard. Like, this guy had like something like 25 patents to his name. Just a real out of the box thinker and everything. And he just refused to read anything nonfiction. He said it was a waste of time, waste of time. Muscular guy, always working out, things like that. But don't get married. It's a trap, one of those guys. And I talked him into reading science fiction. So he was like, "Give me 10 science fiction novels." So 1984, Animal Farm, Fahrenheit 451, Starship Troopers. I can't remember, but it was a list. I said, it's allegories of the future and politics, everything just told in a story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it makes you think. I think reading fiction's good. It gives you better empathy skills, gives you a better imagination, which isn't good just for daydreaming. It's also good for problem solving. So
it's funny. Oscar's in the chat, and today, while I was commuting, I got like an hour and a half commute. So I was just talking about a new character with him, and like the outcome is he turned into a villain. Like, every reimagining of this character, it's like, what? Why is it a guy who's trying to solve all the problems ends up becoming the problem? Yes, we're flawed, I guess, right?
Yep, that's how it goes.
Right, which is why I want Superman. I don't want, what's his name, the Homelander. Homelander, yes, it's probably more realistic. Could you imagine if the average person had superpowers?
Yeah, I think Homelander and the boys are kind of the realistic version of how all that would play out.
And I don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
So, is there a good guy that we could root for in Call Sign Orion?
You could vote. You could definitely root for Orion.
Good.
Looks like the trailer as advertised. He's there to save the world, stop the villain, save the girl.
Good. Yeah,
I definitely get behind him.
I'm tired of all the deconstruction and like, and all the superheroes are they're just like, Batman created the Joker. No, he didn't. People fearmonger about 1984, but Animal Farm is the reality and the reflection of the human condition. It repeats itself throughout history. It's Orwell's best work. I got to reread Animal Farm. I think I read it in junior high school, and I don't think I appreciated it. I got it. I got the point, but I don't think I got the subtlety. Same with what's the island? Lord of the Flies.
Oh
yeah.
There's a lot out there to read.
Yeah, that's good reading.
I'm working my way through Dune right now.
I never liked Dune. I tried and I tried and I tried. I remember the original movie. I saw it in the movie theater, and I was just flawed by it. I was a kid. That David Lynch crazy bizarre movie. Just outlandish. So I was like, I got to read this book, and I tried, and then I tried again in college. I don't know. I just couldn't get into it.
I'm enjoying it. I find it's a lot like the movie, and it's not as dry as I've heard people say it is.
Yep. The people in charge may not be great, but Samwise said they're still good. Yeah, absolutely. Like I don't want to sound all doom and gloom, but I like the individual. That's why I like what I do here is talk with one person. I hate when I appreciate when I get invited to a panel. I gotta be, but if you ever watch me and there's 10 and I'm one of 10 faces, I just
right. Just blend in.
Like I'll go to a party and I'm like, that guy, and that poor guy's gonna talk to me the rest of the night.
I'm curious, what's that? Looks like it's a gun. Looks like maybe it's some kind of blaster or laser gun behind you. Yeah.
Right.
You're right.
This is
on the top on your. Well, now it's on your left.
It's the wrong way. Okay, this is Nick Fury's needle gun.
Oh, okay.
This is Nick Fury's badge, a shield
badge.
There was a company, I think around 2000, they made props. They made Marvel props and they made DC props. They made these shields. They made this Green Lantern. They made this Wonder Woman tiara behind my head.
Okay.
They made that Thor hammer. There's a Magneto helmet. There's Stormbreaker over there. There's another Green Lantern behind this box, the original Green Lantern. They made a whole bunch of Marvel and DC props, and I bought as many of them as I could. There's the Sandman underneath, between the Green Lantern and Thanos. You can see the key to hell from the Sandman.
Okay.
And then
you're a collector, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you can see there's a box that has all the Green Lantern rings, like metal rings and everything. And I thought that they were kind of expensive, but I'm a lunatic, so I bought them all. And then they just stopped making them. Like when the movies came out, I think the Iron Man movie, they started making their own props, and they just didn't seem to have like a good quality. Like all of these things, like they're metal and they feel cool, and then like the movies came out and they just seem to be like toys, which I guess they are. But like the only thing is like this shield right here is aluminum, and it's real easy to chip. And I've been real careful about it. Like this has been moved 3 times. It was in my original house, then it was in my apartment, and then it was here. But I've seen like other people's that they're just bent and beat up and everything. Like the original Cap shield, that looks like a chip, but it's just a glare on the light. These are in real good shape. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
Nice.
This mother box right here, I think, is the last thing they made.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like all the props.
Yeah. It's quite the collection. I can see you've got a lot of games too.
Yeah, I'm a board gamer. I really like to play board games, and like I've been doing. I don't know if you ever watch, but I have like a whole playlist called My Hands Solo, and it's just me playing solo. So I got another camera hooked up into my ceiling, so I could play board games by myself and talk. But I would rather play with people. Like the whole point of board games is to play with people. Even though they are making solo only board games, and there's a game called Final Girl that is one of my favorite games, and it's a solo only game. So when I get a lot of time off, I'll set that game up and turn on the camera and talk to people. It's so much fun. But every Monday and Tuesday I have friends over. We play board games. That's why I don't stream on Mondays and Tuesdays. Are you a board gamer?
Kind of. I recently got into D&D. Not a real big board gamer though. I think it's a world I could dip more into. A lot of people got into it during the lockdowns.
Yeah.
I wasn't locked down at the time. I was considered, essential.
How offensive is that?
Speaking of dystopians.
Job's essential to me. I remember that when when they first announced COVID, I just remember everybody stood around and looked at each other, and they would say, well, everybody should be socially distant, about 6 feet. And I'm not even joking. Within 10 minutes of that, we had a guy at work pointing at everybody, yelling, "You're not socially distant. You're not." I was like, dude, that term didn't exist 9 minutes ago, and now you're the enforcer for this. Imagine.
Right.
Oh, God. And then they said, everybody stay home for 2 weeks. And I got my car and I drove to Pennsylvania and I bought a big box of ammo. I went to my sister's house, stayed overnight, came back with a big, gigantic box of various ammos. I'm not going to tell exactly which. Nobody needs to know, but my wife was crying. What's wrong with you? I said, never in the history of America that I know of did they tell people you can't work. I said, they say 2 weeks, but who knows? This could be months.
That was more like 2 years.
Right. And I'll never forget, like within 2 years, my wife was like, I don't think you bought enough ammo. Like it totally changed her mind.
A lot of people changed. I mean, that was really a dose of dystopia.
Yeah, I had to get out. I was living in Queens. I had, like, I tell people I live in the sticks now. My wife woke me up one day. There was a deer on our lawn. There's wild turkey. Sometimes there was a big, I say a hawk, but I don't know what it was, but like some sort of bird of prey eating a squirrel. There's rabbits and stuff. So I was like, the only bad thing is all my neighbors have probably just as much, if not more, ammo than I have. In Queens, I probably could have ruled my city block. but at least there's deer and squirrel and stuff I could get.
Yeah. I live in a place where you could get all that, but I'm not afraid of my neighbors. I'm afraid of like people who would like invade the town.
In Queens, no joke, I was afraid of the neighbors. Like my wife
in Queens, in Queens. I'm talking about, but you don't live there anymore.
No, like, and I was never locked down. I had an essential job. Again, I can't believe so I was working on the George Washington Bridge all the time. So I was driving to work. There was nobody on the road. I'm driving on the FDR, through Manhattan, like 110, because even cops didn't want to pull you over. So that was the good part. I'd go to work. Nobody on the bridge, so we were able to get a lot of work done and stuff like that. That was so. And then I would come home. My friends wouldn't want to. I'm a board gamer. I would every Friday night we would play either Dungeons and Dragons or play some board games. My wife would make a big dinner. We'd have like 6 people around my table. No, we're not coming out. We're not coming out until there's a cure. We're not coming out. And I'm like, oh man. And then 1 year turned into I said to my wife, we got to get out of here. Like. Me and my wife, we live in Queens, so we're walking down to the restaurant. The restaurant's closed. A car, I'll never forget. We're walking to a restaurant. We didn't know the restaurant was closed. And a car pulls up, and somebody's like, you got to put a mask on. This is my wife. Like, why do I got to wear a mask? Like, me and my wife don't sit in the living room with a mask on. Like, why can't I walk down the street with my wife? And I was like, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. And where I moved now, like, it took 2 months to do that. We looked for a house. We found a house. We moved in within 2 months. Mm-hmm. So 2 months later, we pull into a diner. Nobody has masks on. They're blasting music. Everybody's laughing and joking. I'm like, this is the difference between hillbilly country and the city where all the sophisticados lived.
Well, that's how it is where I live, and it's really just different sides of the highway. And you think the virus can't travel because one side's wearing masks, and even if that does work, we're not. And surprise, less people are sick on the non-mask side.
Yeah, I remember I was talking to somebody in the street. Me and him were just talking. And I didn't realize, but one of my family members was driving by, and I got disinvited to Christmas. Because I was me and somebody else, neither one of us got dignified. I was like, oh. My family member got COVID 3 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How'd your mask work out? So I was like, I'm out of here. I got to get out of here. I bought myself like a solar generator. Mm-hmm. Keep my refrigerator running, or in the worst that happens. That was expensive, but luckily I haven't used it yet. I moved right before I started this channel. That's why I started this channel, because I didn't know anybody, and I wanted to talk comics. The guys that I used to hang out with back in Queens, they still don't hang out with me because I'm like, I'm never getting this freaking shot. This shot didn't exist 6 months ago. Now you want me to take it, put it in my body? I had COVID. I like when they first said the word COVID, I had COVID like 8 days later, and I was fine. I was fine. Yeah, I didn't feel good. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. I didn't feel good. I painted. You see this blue? I painted this blue. This blue has my COVID germs in it. If you ever come down my basement, you know, and I was fine. And everybody went nuts and everybody went crazy. People stopped being friends,
Mm-hmm.
All right. And what pisses me off is my D&D campaign had like 2 more sessions to finish. I'm no joke, like a 5-year campaign. And that's one of the things that made me want to write my comic is this like now finally be able to tell this story, maybe, finish the story. Yes, I'm still in New York until I retire. Then I got to get out of New York. Do you want to say what state you're in? I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to.
I'm in Colorado.
Oh, okay. Colorado. Yeah, Colorado. It's got a mix.
Me and Mike Barron. We've been talking a lot about Mike Barron. I don't think I talked about my entire creative team. I mentioned Luke earlier. But yeah, Mike actually edited the script of Call Sign Orion. So a little quality control there. You could be ensured that it's good.
Did he tell you too many words? That's what he told me about my comic.
Yeah, on the first draft, the first what he first said when he read the first draft is it's better than any of the bleep that Marvel and DC are currently.
Oh wow, he said the same thing about my comic, and I was like, oh wow, so it's better than the Harley Quinn fartacular, and he just started laughing.
But like it had some pacing issues. Yeah, that's a low bar for Marvel and DC, but it had some pacing issues. But I think it's very well paced now, and everyone who's read it said they had fun reading it.
Good.
And I think you're all going to have fun reading it.
Isn't that great that somebody like Mike Barron, he'll just help us out,
Yeah, he called it a fun space opera. He said, "You got a fun space opera here."
Yeah, he told me, he goes, you're not breaking any he said, you're not breaking any new ground, but I don't think that was your intention. Your intention was to make an old Marvel comic. I said, exactly. He goes, then you succeeded. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And like Mike Barron, I was like, hey, what'd you think of my comic? He goes, give me your phone number. So I give my phone number. I'm on the phone with Mike Barron. What a cool guy. What a cool guy.
He's a super cool guy. Eric the Wapo, you're moving the wrong way, sir. You're going the opposite direction of the Exodus. I escaped from California.
Yeah.
And Colorado's, it's blue, but it's less blue than California. That's for sure.
I love Colorado. Colorado is beautiful, man.
It's beautiful, yeah.
I dated a girl who lived in Cortez while I was in college, and we used to drive to Cortez all the time. Driving to Utah is beautiful. I love that Southwest. It's one of the reasons why I set my comic in Arizona. It's just so beautiful. But like you said, you could go to Colorado, like you're in Boulder, and you got Trump derangement city capital. And then the next town over, it could be as red as red could be. Colorado,
exactly.
A weird place.
Exactly.
Same with California, though. My buddy lives down just outside of San Diego, and he says it's as red as red can be.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have in their mind this image of like Sacramento hippies, when they think of California. And reality is when you get like outside of Los Angeles in Southern California, a lot of it's red, especially San Diego County where you have a lot of military families. So
yeah,
it's not as blue as people think. It's just that their Republicans will never control it again the way it is. The system is so heavily Democrat. They have, they rule that state with an iron fist.
Well, at the risk of sounding like a conspiracy theory, which I totally own up to, I'm the world's biggest conspiracy. They're the funnest things in the world. Do I believe them? No, but they are fun. But I do. California's corrupt. There's no way Newsom didn't get impeached. It's all fixed.
Yeah, he ran against Larry Elder for and it seems a little rigged.
Yeah,
I don't like saying that and sound like a tinfoil hat weirdo. But no, that doesn't seem legit. I visited there during lockdowns, and people in LA County were absolutely furious at the guy. They were calling him Mussolini.
Yeah.
So
he had a statue. He commissioned a statue of himself. That is just like
a douche.
That is just such like that's what a guy in your comic book would do. The villain.
Yeah. He like the Like I have basically a Kim Jong Un ruler of Earth, and like that's exactly what he would do. He'd make everyone have a stupid haircut, just like Kim Jong Un. Like that's Newsom's next move. He's gonna make us all slick our hair back like a bunch of '80s villains.
Did you ever read Transmetropolitan by Warren Ellis?
Uh-uh.
You know, there was it was a political comic. It was, Warren Ellis, super edgy. Back in the '90s, I loved all that stuff. Like I was just getting out of punk rock or whatever. But the main story was two political candidates, and I think he called one the one was the Smiler, and one was I can't even think, like the Devil or something like that. And the Smiler looks exactly like Gavin Newsom. I'm surprised people aren't putting pictures of, and he said, like, the Smiler will say anything, do anything to get your vote. He goes, but he doesn't believe it. He won't do it. But whatever it takes, like, oh, you think this? Okay, that's what I'm going to say to get your vote. So that was a pretty, and then the Devil, he was actually pushing to win. He goes, because at least he believes in something, but that, whatever. And he wasn't the Devil, but that's just what he called him,
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
We should find images of the Smiler and just like start a meme.
I'm gonna look it up now. That the Smiler from Transmetropolitan. It was a pretty good comic.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how many people we have watching right now, but it seems like we've had a pretty busy chat.
Right now we got 20.
20? Okay, that's not bad at all. Yeah. If for anyone who hasn't seen yet, these are disappearing. These pop sockets you get for being on the mailing list on my Substack, and these Lena Riley trading cards are also starting to disappear on Fun My Comic, signed by Lisa Foyles.
You should have her do like a cosplay trailer, or
yeah, I should. She's really busy, but I should like ask her. She'll be on the launch stream. Like I think maybe by popular demand she would.
That's cool. So this is the Smiler.
Yeah, with a different haircut, he could be Newsom.
Yeah. Just whatever, just lying through that smile.
The Shadow Punk. Now he's working on the cover right now, and then we'll be launching our funding on May 30th. So stay tuned to Fun My Comic on May 30th. It'll be on Michael Bancroft's channel when we launch. And
isn't Bancroft just like the coolest?
He is the coolest dude.
Yeah, he's so positive.
He's also a damn good artist. Like, have you read The Lucent? It's a great series.
Yeah, I got the two hardcover books. I just think he's like a breath of fresh air. I tend to avoid all the drama and all the fighting and. Just like work today, I sat there biting my teeth. I'm so tempted every day. Like I will have like typed thing, and then I just delete. I don't even into this crazy people. Just whatever you say, they take it the wrong way, and then I can't deal with it anymore. Just want to make a comic book. Why everybody fighting over a freaking comic book? Just you don't like it, don't read it. Don't talk about it. Don't give it.
I just think it's the internet. Like I say, like if Comicsgate were an actual physical comic shop, it would be like Waffle House where people just get in fistfights all the time.
I don't think so, because they're all a bunch of fat pussies. I don't think guts to
I mean, that's also very true. They just scream at each other or something. But that kind of behavior, like people obviously don't act that way at real comic shops,
Right.
It could be really strange to yell about something you hate and yell at people for liking it.
Somebody called me a wuss the other day on Twitter, and I was just like, yeah, out of you and me, I'm the one who's gotten to 2 fistfights this year. When was the last time you were in a
Yeah.
It's
also like the same. There's like all these ugly guys, saying like, "Oh, would not smash." Like she's way out of your league, bro.
She's mid. This is gonna be really mean. But did you see Bill Burr said Elon Musk is into making robots because he can't talk to hot chicks? I'm like, that guy bang.
That is objectively, verifiably false.
Yeah. Have you met and have you seen Bill Burr's wife? I wouldn't be bragging about anything.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But yeah, like I like hanging out with real creators like you and the people I stream with. Like, you know, we're not about the drama. We just like to create cool stuff.
who else do you stream with? Let's give,
Telepathic Bunny,
oh,
Luke
he's
Stone,
over.
all the Nerd Bacon people, you know. Who else is streaming? I've been on Nick Phoenix's show,
Yeah, Phoenix
Phoenix
Press.
Press. He's
He does.
awesome.
Yeah, screen.
Iron Seas, those guys are all fun. Who else have I? I've been on a lot of streams just this past 6 months trying to get the word out, but I'm trying to do it more and more frequently.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
I used to say it's an unfortunate thing, but I kind of enjoy it now. Like going on other people's shows, talking. You know, I hope, since I'm going to be launching in 2 weeks, I hope to start doing the circuit again. This Saturday, I'm going to be on Crenshaw. His show called the content. It's going to be 10:40 Eastern Standard Time Saturday night.
Okay.
I'm going to start booking on other people's channels again. I'll be on Michael Bancroft. You know, I do like it, as long as it's like 101. I get so disappointed when I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll be on your channel, and then I see it's like 6 people, and then we're all fighting for. I just clam up.
It's hard when you got like more than 5. That's like Luke's preference. Like when you get more than 5 people, it's really hard to get a word in sometimes.
Yes, I Friday nights I do a show called It's Clobbering Time, and it's like you said, it's Spider-Man can beat the Thing. No, Spider-Man can't beat Batman. Batman can beat, you know what I mean? And we just do that for an hour, and it's a lot of fun. But
right.
I think the most I've ever had was 5 people, but my favorite is 4, just because it fits on this really well. Everybody gets an equal space.
Yeah,
Plus they hang out in the comic shops. Now is Amazon. Yeah. What do you think about Todd McFarlane buying whatchamacallit, Diamond Distributors? You hear that rumor?
I don't know. I mean, someone's got to buy it. Yeah, I think Shadowpunk might have joined a little late, but this is like the glossy version of the book. This is just like a proof I have. These aren't even like consecutive pages, but like if you just look at this space battle, you can see it's kind of shiny and glossy.
Who does the colors? The colors are really good.
Patrick Gamma. He works with Luke Stone. That guy's awesome. I largely went with Luke and Patrick as a team because of the colors Patrick did on Chrome Dog. I don't know if you saw that one.
True Chrome Dog. I couldn't think of the name of it.
Yeah, Chrome Dog was awesome. But yeah, I think he drew this not long after, well, maybe about a year or so after Chrome Dog, maybe. But I think he just had fun. Like you could tell, like people are saying he stepped up his game.
I'm Chrome Dog. Justin's a good guy. I like Chrome Dog, but Luke got better.
He got better. I mean, he even told me, like, since he drew my stuff, he's drawn hundreds of pages since then for other people. So I think Luke's better now than when he first drew this art. And people are saying, see my art, Luke really stepped it up. Well, I think Luke just had fun, and then he keeps getting better as he draws more.
Well, it's practice. Yeah.
Right.
Space is one of the best adjectives. Yeah. I'd like to. I have a space story coming up. You know, I keep saying that, but man, I wish I could clone Renzo, because I just want Renzo to do all my artwork. You know, I have 30 Renzos, but you know, I can get the comic out monthly or something like that. That would be fun.
Yeah, Renzo's another guy who's getting real popular and drawing a lot. His work's really good.
And for those of you who are watching, I have original Renzo. I bought a page from Renzo, and because he says the Mexico Post System, he paid DHL, so it was like $100 just to ship it to me. So he sent it filled with original art. So I'm going to be putting original artwork pages on the campaign of Renzo. Some of it is not even for Heroic Tales. Mark Polton bought the Coney Waves page already. I got to send it out tomorrow. So do you have any stretch goals? Anything special? I know you got the pop sockets. You got the resin ships, which is I don't know. I love that design of the ship. It's like retro, and yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's kind of like a stealth fighter. Sorry. You know, it's funny because I even plugged it in the Grok to try and make AI images of like the dogfights and stuff, just to like see what it would look like. And they said like, oh, it's a design inspired by the R-Wing and Star Fox and the Viper of Battlestar Galactica. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Also, like you could tell like there's a stealth fighter like shape to these guys. Actually, I got a patch too. I should go on and show you guys the design I have for the patch. It's the Alpha Climbing Vertical, and like the arrow star, it's like an A shape, like the Alpha symbol. Um, and the unit, they're called the Alphas, so their patch is just like a vertical climbing arrow star making an A shape. It's pretty cool.
It is. I love that. Like, of course, my favorite spaceship of all time, right here, is the Enterprise. You know, I'm an original Star Trek fan, but my second
I
favorite,
think I see it in there.
yeah, right here. The stand is getting weaker and it just tilts over time. I got to reinforce the stand, but the Star Destroyer is my second favorite ship from Star Wars. That big
Yeah.
edge in space. Yours remind me of that. It's just a cool. Since they have wings, are they supposed to fly in atmosphere as well?
Yes, they fly in atmospheres. They have two different fuel types. One's better for space, one's better for atmospheres. The wings actually expand. So I have it designed, and you'll see it in the book and other parts of the book. Like when they're in an atmosphere of flying at a slower speed, the wings expand, and then it can land and take off like a Harrier jet.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of got like this hovering, slow speed function as well.
Not the slave one.
No, Slave One, because it like flies like this and lands like that. No, this is more like a Harrier jet, just like does vertical landing and takeoff.
No. I was talking about my favorites. No, I never liked the slave one. He probably heard me say that before. He's probably busted my chop. I never liked it. It looks like an iron, like you know what I mean, like your mom's ironing. Yeah, I never liked that ship. Star Wars has some weird ship designs, but it also has some of the best ship designs. From the top, it reminds me of the Phoenix from Battle of the Planets. From the bottom, it reminds me of a stealth fighter. Oh, yeah. All right.
I got both. So yeah, it was like the basic shape of it is inspired by a stealth fighter, but the overall design, I'd say, is a combination of an R wing and a Viper.
Are they faster than light?
Yes, they can travel faster than light. So they do warp speed. I pulled from Star Trek and did warp speed.
So explain to me how warp speed works in your world.
In a Star Trek, you bend space and going through space. Not so much like hauling A through space.
Again,
physicists have explained this. You go out, you actually fly at that speed, you're going to expand and basically disintegrate.
Because I feel like kind of like arrogant and hypocritical when I say stuff like this because I only have one comic and I really didn't do any world building in it. You know what I mean? Like as far as, but I have like there's like 3 different ways to travel faster than light, and warp. Do you remember? This is a deep cut. What was the name of that show? It was a manga that came to America, or as an anime rather, that came back when they called it Japanimation.
That's old then.
It was originally called Spacecraft Yamato, and then it was Battle of the Planets in America.
Oh, really?
They explained it that when they did the warp, it was like that Mad magazine. You know how you folded the cover, so space folded, and so if you were here, space would fold, and then when it reset, you were over here, and you didn't travel so that's the way I think of when you warp space. It's a set distance. Like you have to calibrate, and you figure out like you're not actually flying fast. It's basically teleporting. Then there's actually faster than light travel, where you're going like 2 times the speed of light, 3 times. Like that's the super rarest in my world. And then there's another technology like hyperspace, where you actually leave the Earth and you go to another dimension where 1 foot is 27 miles and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then you pop back into Earth. And then there's the 4th super high tech that only one race has mastered it.
I have a similar type of travel and dogfighting, and I do incorporate that technology into the dogfighting. So, like you said, like navigating
Star Blazers. That's it. I'm sorry, Star Blazers.
It's just a deceleration. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I incorporate that into the dogfighting because, like, bending space at long distances, that would take some skilled navigation. That's why, like in Dune, they have the navigators, the Spacers Guild. But humans, I don't think it would take complex computers in order to make those calculations and make that happen. I think flying just on your own, navigating, would be kind of beyond our comprehension. But there's a highly intelligent species that could do that at very short distances and they incorporate that into their dogfighting. So you're flying and they're just teleporting everywhere. It's kind of like fighting Nightcrawler in a dogfight version.
Oh, cool! Like a D&D Blink Dog, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing that Aerostar has going for it, aside from like the best pilots, is that it flies faster than any other starfighter. So they basically, it's kind of the dynamic I came up with in the dogfighting because I want it to be sort of believable. Is That's like the MiG versus the Phantom in Vietnam. Like the MiGs were the better turning ships, but the Phantom had better acceleration, and the go-to defensive maneuver was just to climb vertically and outrun them, and then you could dive down on them. So the Aerostar is fighting in a similar way. They use their speed as their main weapon.
We were talking about board gaming before. Have you ever played a game called Star Wars X-Wing?
I played Rogue Squadron was the one I played.
Oh, it's a tactical miniature game.
Oh, you're talking about the board. I'm talking about video games, yeah.
No, yeah, I don't play video games, not because I don't like them. It's just because I think I would like them too much, and that would
I stopped playing video games a long time ago, but that was one of my favorites, Rogue Squadron, like the Nintendo 64 Rogue Squadron. I'm sure it's come along
more comics. That's good. Yeah, and yeah, Battleship Yamato was dubbed into English called Star Blazers. Star Blazers was one of the very first Japanese cartoons that I saw, and it was out at exactly 3:00. So I would have to run home to catch it. So I missed it as much as I could. And I've always told myself that I was gonna watch it because it's season 1 is in it one story, and then season 2 is another story. And I never saw season 2. It was like legendary. Like my friends were telling me what happened. I was like, oh my god, the Comet Empire is coming. Rogue Squadron was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the Naboo ships. Yeah, they were cool and sleek. So we've been talking for over an hour, and I babbled and changed the subject and meander. Anything that you didn't get a chance to say?
No. For anyone who hasn't seen, just get on the mailing list. Get yourself a free pop socket. Looks like this. That is just for being on the mailing list. Reply to any post. DM me with a mailing address, and I'll send that to you. It looks like this on your phone. Only mine's not quite as shiny as this one, so you'll get the better one. On Fund My Comic, find campaigns for the ships we've been talking about. The F-26 Aerostar. Pre-order the book. You'll get the best deal. You'll get a glossy book. You'll get a higher quality space battle. Who wouldn't want that? Another thing you could find on Fund My Comic is the Lena Riley trading card. My April O'Neil type character, inspired by Lisa Foyles, who has signed the card. Go ahead, check it out. You want to see the trailer again?
Yeah, we'll play the trailer again. What is
I'm going to make sure you could actually hear it this time.
Sci-fi loves to say bending space, but it's literally empty. You would have to bend reality itself since you are bending something physical. Yeah. It's something to think about. Like when you're bending space, what really are you doing? It really is like we hear it so much, we just accept it, but it really is an absurd concept if you think about it. To bend space.
Yeah, there's actually that part is incorporated in Call Sign Orion as well, and it's incorporated in the battle. I don't want to give too much of that part away.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil it, but
fun.
You want to talk about how clever you are. Oh man, and then you think you're so clever, and you write a story, then you find out somebody already did it, and you're like,
yeah, I don't want to give that part of the combat away, but you're really going to have fun enjoying that part of how the bending of space works.
So here's what we'll do: you'll bring up your trailer, you'll play your trailer, I'll play my trailer, and then we're just going to leave. So
sounds good. Let me pull it up here.
Call Sign Orion. It looks good.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you sent me it, but nothing's showing up in the box. Oh, there it goes. Okay. All right. So I'm going to bring this up. So, see everybody. All right, thanks for stopping in. And this looks good. What day are you launching again?
May 30th.
May 30th. Cool. On Bancroft. So there you go.
It'll be on Fund My Comic.
Fund My Comic. Yeah, I'm that's gonna be my home from now on. There's nothing else. You know, I'll probably do a Kickstarter also, just because I did okay on Kickstarter. I'm too small. I can't turn away. I already talked to Luke about that. I apologize. And Luke was so professional. He said, "Make that money, John. Make that money." That's So but Indiegogo, I am done with Indiegogo. That is just a difficult thing to use, difficult to work with, and I was not pleased with it. But anyway, see everybody. Thank you. Bye bye.